Hey guys, RC here. Welcome back to another update video for Draft Day Sports College Basketball from Wolverine Studios. Let's jump over to their website, and this happened a couple of days ago on May 10th actually. So today is May 12th, so a couple of days ago. Um, I've been real busy with work the last couple of days, so had not had an opportunity to do this, and I am actually heading out of town for a weekend work trip later on today. So wanted to get this out to you guys just to have an eye on it. Anyway, they've released an update to version 1.4. What does it do? Well, it increases the amount of transfer players each season. So that's kind of good. More activity in that off-season period. Bad for some teams, good for other teams. You know, if you've got really good players riding your bench, they might be more inclined to leave your school now. Um, if you're not such a great depth team, might be a way to get more players on board. Improved recruiting efforts for small schools. There's actually a post in this thread asking if you have to start a new game. I do not know the answer to that, and that could impact my Let's Play where I'm playing with Sam Houston State. Hopefully you don't, but sometimes if it's a big enough change, you have to. So I'll wait, and I'm going to wait and see. I've still got a couple of videos recorded for that Let's Play. If Gary comes back and says that, yeah, to get that, you may have to start a new league, we may end up having to do that with our Let's Play and go back to square one, which, you know, honestly would not be the end of the world because that's kind of a big deal. Makes it a little bit easier to recruit. You're not going to recruit top 10 classes with a small school. But you know, if you have a better shot at landing players, it'll make it easier to play. Fixed a problem when changing conferences with a two-division conference ends up with a team in the new conference not playing conference games. Boy, that was a tongue tire. In the game, you have the ability to have movement. Teams can get moved from one conference to another. In real life, mostly, you know, we think about that in football, but all the programs change conferences. So like when Missouri left the Big 12 and Texas A&M left the Big 12 and went to the SEC, that's what they're talking about here. When you move to a conference and the new conference that you're going to has two divisions, like the SEC does, then that new team is not playing conference games. So that's gotten fixed. Yeah, I would say that would probably be a pretty bad bug. So glad to see that's fixed. Fixed an issue where teams are not firing coaches properly when the no fire option is on. What I'm guessing that refers to is when you set your game up, you can set the game up that you'll never get fired from your school. Evidently that was bleeding out and causing the computer to not fire coaches. That's evidently been fixed, and now those computer coaches will now get the axe if they're not meeting expectations. Fixed a league creation issue when using custom roster imports. So, you know, there are some third-party rosters out there that you can use in the mods, probably in the mods section at Wolverine Studios, just a guess. I haven't used any, but evidently there was an issue when trying to create a league that the league would not create, or it would crash, or the players were not importing correctly. So that's been fixed. And fixed a database import-export for coaches not showing third and fourth tournament information. We had actually talked about that in one of my videos where I'd like the option to turn those third and fourth tournaments off. That's not what this is. Evidently there was a problem for multiplayer where that was causing the import-export to not reflect those tournaments. So that's been fixed. So again, fourth patch here, fixing a couple of major issues and then tweaking a few small things. So all you do is you come in here, you click on the install, it'll download. You open it up in your, however you open up your downloads, and you run it, and it will actually automatically overwrite. And when you start your game up at that point, it will now say version 1.4. I have not loaded a game yet, so but you can see here that I've installed it, and it has updated my game to version 1.4, and that is strictly off of the icon I have on my desktop. So that's where I launched that from. So it did update successfully, and that's what's leading me to believe that I do not have to change or restart my league, but I don't know that for a fact. So anyway, as I mentioned down here on page 2, somebody had posted, do we need to start a new game? That post went up yesterday afternoon, and so hopefully hopefully soon somebody has puts a reply up to that. I don't know if Gary answers all of these or if he's got somebody else that will chime in if they know the answer, but that will be information that would be helpful to know. So again, go to Wolverine Studios, to the forums. I'll pop back. Just go into college basketball general discussion, and it's right there. It's the only stickied, and he has all the patches in that same sticky. So if you click on that, there's your patch to update it, and there's your full install if you're buying the game. That's where you would install. That's where you would buy the game from. Run this one instead of buying it from the website, which is going to be the default 1.0 version, and then having to upgrade. Also, I would speculate, sheer speculation, but knowing Gary's games like I do, if you happen to buy from the website and you have version 1.0 or some lesser version 1.1, 1.2, you do not have to get 1.3 and then 1.4. Just upgrade straight to 1.4, and that will include the previous version fixes as well. So if you've got 1.0 and you click on here and update it, you'll have version 1.4, just like I've got here, and that will also include any tweaks and fixes from the other 3 patches as well. I'm assuming that's correct. Don't hold me to that if it's not true, but if it's not, I'd be very surprised. Mainly because he doesn't have the other ones on here still. If you needed those, I think he would still have those in each version in the notes here to access. So anyway, new patch, Wolverine Studios, Draft Day Sports College Basketball. If you have not played the game, it does have a demo version. Highly recommend it. It's very in-depth. It's a lot of fun to play. Check out the Let's Play that I'm doing here on my channel. Subscribe to keep up to date on new patches on the various games that I play, if and when they come out. Also, I go through a lot of league setup. I've got a walkthrough for this game. I have a tutorial that I'm in the process of posting videos for. I've got 8 or 9 videos up for the tutorial where I go into more in-depth detail for each section of the game. Check those out, play the demo, and consider buying the game. It's a solid game from we all say we like to support the small businesses, that we don't want to support the Walmarts of the world all the time. Well, EA Sports and those guys, that's not Gary. Gary, is a independent entrepreneur. He's got Wolverine Studios is his baby and his alone. He's got a couple of other guys that are programming games for him. I know Brooks is doing the football games, and then he's got some other guys that are helping out as well. I'm not privy to the entire chain of command there, but I do know that it is a small independently owned software studio, and I like to support those guys because they're the ones that feed my craving for these kind of games for PCs. So play the demo, see what you think about it. Save some allowance or part of a paycheck up to buy it if you like it. Plenty of videos, like I said, from me, probably some other people, but I know I've got a bunch out there. I've got a Let's Play series that we're currently doing as well. I mentioned playing with Sam Houston State. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Don't forget to update to version 1.4. And guys, this is RC. Thanks very much for checking it out. We'll see you next time. Take care.